Hey everyone, my name's Kamela from Creative Moms Decant. It has been a busy day around here and I am ready to do some crafting. Let's jump in. So today we're going to use our Cricut Maker to engrave a luggage tag for my farmhouse stand. So to get started, I've downloaded the file for the exact blank I'm using. I use a vendor that will send you the SVG files, and that's definitely what I recommend. I used Craft Chameleon for my blank. And now I'm going to grab some text. I want this mustache font, so I'm going to type farm, and that's a Design Space font. And I'm going to do another farm. And we are going to want to change the style on these to writing and then to engrave. All right. I'm going to double check you can't just go straight. Oh, it does. It's a little different if you go straight to engrave. So I'm going to undo out of that, and I'm going to do both of those the same way, straight to engrave, and that's going to give me some really cool lines that I want. So straight to engrave. And then I want to do the word sweet, so I'm going to come in here and I'm going to grab the word sweet. And the font I want to use for this one is Alexis Matters. I don't think it's this one. It is this one. Okay, and so I want to go ahead and change this to engrave. I'm not a big fan of that S actually. I have a template with some engraving fonts that I like, but that is, this is what I thought I wanted to use, but it's not. Let's look at Elizabeth. That's another fun cursive one. And I will list all of these in the description below. So let's look at Elizabeth. Yes, I think that's going to be much better. Let's take it to engrave. I like that S a lot. All right, so I'm going to make my blank background white so I can see what I'm doing here. And we're going to want to attach the cursive for sure. Let's take our farm in. And remember, with engraving, you don't want to go all the way to the edge. So it's recommended that you stay off the edge a little bit. All right, so this is 2.153. I'm going to do the same thing here. 2.153, so those will match. And I'm going to go ahead and put this in here. And here, I might want to go a little smaller even. I'm kind of thinking I want that S big. Let's go 1 3/4. 1.75, 1.75. All right, and then I'm going to take both of these and align them up on this side. Maybe not precise yet, but I think that's where I'm going to end up with them. And let's work on attaching these. So you remember the way to do this is ungroup, and then arrow keys until you get close, and then I'm going to select both of these, and same thing, move that close, and then 3, and I'll just finish this up here. So actually I don't think I want to connect it to the S, and I want to make the S a little bigger and see what I think there. It's too big. Let's take the S to the canvas and see where we're at. So of course it's all a canvas, but let's take it to our helper shape. All right, and I'm going to group these together so I don't mess any of that up. And take it in. And I think I'm going to want to add a chicken to this. So I'm going to move the fonts all to the top, and then I'm going to show you what you do when you want to engrave a solid shape. All right, so everything's moved to the top. I'm going to grab both of my farms and align them to the right-hand side. And I'm going to go ahead and group those together. And that way they'll move freely. And I can go ahead and group my S and my, well, we're going to group all of that. It wants to go together and I'm okay with that. So I'm going to go ahead and slide this out of the way and group. We might even go ahead and attach. I think that's always good to remember to do that. So group and attach are important. And I'm going to put this back where I want it. And then let's grab an image, a chicken. So I also have 2 Design Space operations open. So you can go to File and New Window up here. I don't need another one. But I opened 2, and I opened up this foil or engraved filler starter shape. I will link it also in the description. We're going to need it. So I'm going to copy it while I'm here and go ahead and look for our chicken. I will tell you that ones with lots of details in them are hit or miss. So let's grab these 2 and we'll start playing with both of them. I'm going to go ahead and paste in that shape that we just talked about. You do not want to resize this shape. So you'll want to resize your images first and then turn them into the engraving lines, which is what this helper shape will do. So let's start with this one. And we'll want to place him in here where we want him. And I don't mind unlocking and making him a little chub. So there he would go. And I think it's totally cute and would work. Let's try to spin it the other way. His head might flip horizontal. I kind of like the head that way. All right, so I'm going to slide him onto that while we adjust this one. All right, so what we're going to do is go ahead and slice both of these out of our lines because we need engraving lines. If we switched this to engrave now, that's going to only engrave the outside edge. So in order to engrave the whole thing, we're going to move it into this shape. You want to cut this on or slice this at an angle all the time. So I'm going to go ahead and select both here and slice after I moved into an angle. And then I'm going to set these pieces to the side. We're going to hold on to those. And I'm going to grab this chicken in and also send it at an angle and slice it. And then we can take a look at which one looks best in our canvas. So let's get rid of this. And you see the ones with lines in them are just trickier to engrave. Like none of those look right. So I wanted to show you that, but I had a feeling it wouldn't be our favorite. So let's go ahead and grab this chicken back and we'll get him in here where we wanted him. And I might look at a smaller one. If we decide we want to use him, we'll have to, nope, I like the one. But remember, you don't want to change the size of this once you slice it. So you can, however, go ahead and flip it. So let's look back at it this way and see if that's going to be better. And I do think that that's better. So now we're ready to set this up for our mat. All right, so the first thing we need to do with our shape is go ahead and mirror this. So I'm going to flip horizontal. And then we need to create our helper shape. So I'm going to grab a circle. And I'm going to set its position at 0.25 and 0.25. And then we want to set its size to 0.01. This way it doesn't take very long and it doesn't cause any damage to our product. So now I want to set our shapes with everything grouped together. So everything grouped. And then I want to set this position to 1 and 1. Whoa, I'm not sure what I did there, but 1 and 1. All right, so now we want to go ahead and delete that shape. So I'm going to ungroup here, and I'm going to grab this outside shape, and it can go. We're done with it. It's done its job. And then you want to select all of this. Everything should be set to engrave. I forgot to do my helper shape. So everything should be set to engrave. And then you want to attach this and send it to Make It. And you've already mirrored, so we do not need to mirror again, and continue. So you do want to go to Browse All Materials, and then we choose this foil craft board holographic, and done. And then we're going to unload our engraving tool, and I'll show you how I do my mat. Alright, so I'm going to remove the cover on my mat. You want to use a nice strong grip mat for this. And then I use Scotch double-side sticky tape as well. And I put that all around the outside edge of the blank. So I'm going to grab another piece. Alright. You definitely want it to go all the way around. And then we're going to place our blank on right on the 1 and right on the 1. So the flat edge is right there at the top. And perfect. And then I'm going to grab a piece of just good old masking tape. And you don't want it to be anywhere you're going to engrave, but it can definitely go on the top of this design because we're not engraving there. So you want a ruler inside here to hold your mat in place. It just isn't quite sturdy enough for the heavy acrylic. And we need our engraving tip. So it's number 41, and it looks like this. And we're going to put it right in, and then we're ready to load our mat. So underneath both of those, load the mat. Make sure your wheels are not on your acrylic at all, and push your Cricut C. And engraving takes a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and let this run, and then I'll meet you back when it's almost done, or hopefully I'll catch it when it's almost done. Alright, so we're sitting at about 95% or so I figured maybe you wanted to watch the end here. So as this finishes up, I will tell you that if you want to see how to do this on the Explorer, you just let me know in the comments. I have already done it and it works great. Also, I had already removed the covering from one side before we started, so I did want to remember to tell you that, and I'm glad I did. So I keep it on one side, but I remove it off the other. And I've got my lint brush handy because the best way to save your mat from mess is to have a lint brush handy. We should be almost done here. So my lint brush is handy so that I can wipe this down. I may have got my tape a little too low and be in big trouble here. So I guess time will tell. Let's go ahead and take this off. So I just remove all those pieces so that it doesn't get all over my mat. So we can take this out and pull this off. My goodness, I got lucky. Don't be like me. Make sure that your tape is not on your design. All right, so let's remove the paper backing from this side and check out our design. I am going to add this to, oh, I love, they're really hard to show on camera. It doesn't really matter what we do. Nope, that doesn't help. But I will show you in a good picture in just a bit. But I'm going to tie some beads that I found off Amazon onto it, and I think that's going to be perfect. I love the engraving on the tag for my farmhouse shelf. Thank you so much for joining us today. Likes and subscribes are super, super helpful. Have a joyful day. Bye-bye.